Right now, finding our roots, building ourselves up from the rubble, building that foundation that weathers all the storms of life. That's why we're here, guys. Pissed off for excellence.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm here in Vegas for an event and I'm in the hotel and got some hours free this evening, so I'm going to answer some of your emails here, so you can get a bunch here, but let's get into it. This email comes from Shant and he writes, hey Greg, I had a couple of questions for you. Reading about you in your bio, we learned you got into modeling as you were discovered at a talent search in a mall. For those of us that aren't as lucky or don't have the opportunity, is there any advice you can say to newbies about breaking into the industry? Once a person trying to break into the industry moves to LA, what would you say are the first couple of steps necessary trying to make a name for themselves in this career? Great question. I get this a lot. One, man, how did it start for you and this and that? Or, this is how it started for me. I was in the military, just got back from overseas, and I happened to be in a hotel lobby of a place that they were having a talent search. A bunch of agents were there and whatnot. I was at the bar with a bunch of buddies, just catching up on times, when a guy approached me and said, hey, are you here for the convention? I told him no, I'm here just, getting drunk basically with my buddies. And he said, hey, you should come to my room to get some pictures. I said, what room number, man? I can't wait. So, no, I didn't go up to his room. I took his information, and the next week, I was looking at his card. I did my research on who the guy was, and he found out I was a legit guy, so I said, you know what, why not? Why not give it a chance? I love working out, I'm in shape. I never thought about this career. I was a first lieutenant, company executive officer in the military, and still had about a year or so left in the military, if I wanted to get out after my West Point term was up. But the way I like to live life is that no regrets. Now, there's a fine line between stupidity and courage, right? So I did my research, found this guy was legit, went to the gym and kind of got in shape, what I thought was in shape. Gave him a call, said, hey, I'm coming up next week. I went up there, we did a test shoot. Out of that test shoot, we landed the cover for Muscle and Fitness, my first cover. And then it started rocking from there. Now, did I get lucky? Yeah, I guess I did get lucky there. But you can't say it's lucky that I continue to get cover after cover after cover after cover. So what did I do different than somebody else? Okay, one, you have to have a look, right? You have to have something that your parents gave you that is attractive to the majority of the people out there. Once you have that, you gotta get in shape. So for people that are getting started, this is what I did. Yeah, I got that one cover, but really it wasn't anything. That couldn't launch me, it couldn't start me, it couldn't do anything. That was just, a needle in a haystack I caught, So for me to really embark that and make it even more than that, I went to Barnes & Noble and did my homework. I grabbed every single magazine off the rack that I respected, that I wanted to be part of their success. I sat down there, grabbed a coffee for hours. And if you flip to the editorial page, it says every photographer that's a contributing photographer for that magazine. I wrote all of them down. For every single magazine, I'm talking pages and pages and pages. Then I cross-referenced those numbers. And I found a list of maybe 5 to 6 photographers that were shooting for all these magazines. So I said, bam, I got my list. Next step for me was to get in great shape. Got in the best shape I could. And then I hired a photographer, some whatever guy, and I was in New York at the time. I had him shoot some stills that I owned. So I paid for the pictures and I owned those pictures. Once I had the pictures I liked, then I emailed everybody. Those photographers, my pictures. But here's a catch. You need a hook, right? That hook for me was a backstory. Everyone needs a backstory. Everyone, being in shape and having a good look and having a great body is a dime a dozen. There's a million of them out there. What people want to relate to is someone that's aesthetically nice to look at, right? But it has a story that's encouraging and motivates them to get off their fat ass to transform themselves. So what's your story? You've got to find that story. Every single one of you has a story out there that's impelling. You know, even if you consider yourself average Joe whatever, and you're in great shape, well, that's a story in itself. Because most average people aren't in great shape now, are they? So why are you, Mr. Average, in great shape? I want to know that. I want to know what that is. Tell me. Find that story. So you send a bio of who you are, what your story is. It makes you different from everybody else, along with your pictures, saying you're ready to go whenever you're flying and everything else. I didn't get paid for the first 5 or 6 covers that I've ever did, or the photo shoots, or anything else. It was totally for exposure, for tear sheets, to build a resume, a portfolio that I can use and market to get more work and more work. The other keynote is that you show up for a shoot in shape. A lot of people are like, oh, I booked a shoot, I'm good to go. Yeah, party time. Bull fucking shit. You booked that shoot, that's great, congratulations. But now the work begins. Because that shoot and the tear sheets and the pictures, the covers, whatever comes from that shoot will then book your next job and your next job. Just because you booked the shoot, now it's time to turn it up a notch. You get in the best shape you can. You come to the shoot on time, in shape, professional, with a great attitude, even though you're feeling depleted. And you're helping the photographer move around, his gear and everything else, being interactive, you know, doing something that they remember you by. As 1, professional. 2, in great shape. 3, never complained. 4, fun to be around. So much fun, let's do it again. You know what I mean? That kind of attitude, it's a small niche world. You build that kind of rapport of who you are, people are going to take notice. And here's the deal. These magazines come out every single month with pictures, right? With, you know, with stories and everything else. And how many times can you tell the same story? So the editors then call photographers who then become the photographer / casting director. And they go, hey man, find us a new look, you know, doing an ab story, you know, just send us something. Photographer's like, alright, so he's looking at, you know, his different models, trying to find somebody new. Oh, someone just emailed me, who is this person? Greg Plitt, who is this guy? Well, he got a good look, oh, I like his story. Let me give him a call. Hey, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready, because I take this shit seriously. I'm always ready, I'm always in the now. There is no off-season for a fitness model, for an actor, for anybody that's in shape. It's the only off-season is when you're not, is when you're out of shape. And that means because you can't book anything. That's the off-season. You understand that? Always in shape. He sees that email, boom, he calls you up, bam, he shoots an editorial to start. That's all you're going to get. But with every editorial, consider that chapter within the cover, within the magazine, with every chapter, there's a chapter opener picture. That chapter opener picture leads into the storyboard, right? It's also the same kind of style picture as the fucking cover. So, you like your look and everything else, bam, that could pop for a cover. Or, hey, you know what? You know, we need a cover, you know, what we're going to do this month, You know what? That guy, Greg Plitt, was always in shape. He came in, he was fun to work with. Let me give him a call and see if he's willing to be here. Give him a call. Hey, I'm ready. I'm there. Did I have to sacrifice it to change plans? Yes. Do they book the story, and then the photographer, and then the shoot location, and then the stylist, and then think about calling the model, giving you, what, 2-3 days sometimes to be there and shoot it, and that also could be time when you need to travel? Yes, that happens all the time. Does it suck? Yes, it does suck. But you suck that egg with a smile on your face because these are the means to the end. It's not the end state where you can sit back and be like, yo, I just did it, man. Fucking look at me. No, doesn't work that way. Small steps. Add them up. Big distances. Add them up. Gigantic things. All of a sudden, now you got a career. Now you got a name. Now you got something established with. It all starts from that first day. Taking a chance. You know, now, for those of us that aren't as lucky and don't have the opportunity, is there any, you know, that I ran into this guy? Yeah, maybe I got lucky. Or maybe I was always in shape. So if this guy didn't see me, the next day somebody was going to see me. Or the next day someone's going to see me. You know what? I put myself in the situation. What luck is, all right? And remember this. No one's lucky, all right? Lucky is when you have a trained ability, a proven art form that you've mastered, or you know, you've got in great shape. You've trained something to perfection. When that trained ability collides with an opportunity, that's luck. And that's the only luck that you ever get. No one's going to look at you and be like, you know what, man? I'm going to give you everything. Because the world does not work that way. There's too much competition out there. And if someone is saying that to you, be careful with the back end price on that nice little gift he's giving you. Because it's more than you're going to want to pay, I guarantee you. And if you start selling your integrity and your honor, you know, for this one little job, you know that backstory I was telling you about that makes you different? Well, you just threw that fucker away, didn't you? Because if your integrity is in question, or people think that you're like, gay for pay, or you do sexual favors against things, I don't care what you did to get the job, or whatever it was. Once they find out the truth of that, man, it's a bad day, and that's something you can't go back and ever change. So, I'd rather bag groceries, man. I would never do that. I had a big job one day, and a casting director said, "Hey, man, I got you this job." And I'm like, "Great, man, let's do it." He said, "What are you going to do for me?" I'm like, "Well, I'm going to show up and shave and give you my all. I'm going to make you look good by choosing me. What else?" I go, "That's all I can provide." And he goes, "Well, if that's the case, then you can get out." And I walked out, and I lost that job, and that was a big paying job. Later on, that shit came out. I looked at the model on there, I go, I know what he did for it. That's not something I'm willing to do. The only way I'm ever going to achieve the career I want is with my honor intact, looking in the mirror, proud of what I'm looking at. So, there's only one way to do it. That's the honest way. And you can see all those other guys cutting the corners and everything else. Let them cut the corners, man. Let them just do whatever they're going to want. Because they're going to crash and burn as you're sailing right by them, bigger and better. So, Shannon, I think I kind of broke it down, man, but, real fast, get the magazines, find the photographers, get in great shape, own those pictures, send them the pictures with the backstory, with, if it makes you different, send them to them, be in shape, ready to go. Did I have to pay for my flights? Did I have to change anything? Was I losing money on these shoots? Yes, I was, but I believed in the bigger picture. I wasn't looking at today. I was looking at the longevity of where I wanted to be. And I knew that this stuff, even though it cost me time, effort, money, and sweat equity, was going to lead me to something bigger that I could rest my hat on. And then when I showed up in shape, professional, I was fun to work with, and I was reliable. And that was a reputation I established, and kept going and going and going. After that, then it's real easy. It's just, you just put it in cruise control and just go get, 130, 40 covers now. Anyway, that's a great question, man. And I think you take that same kind of philosophy with everything in life, It's not just about, it's about finding where you want to be, right? And then sitting where you are, and then finding the path to get there. Yeah, there's a wall that says no here, so you go around that wall. There's someone says no here, so you go around that person. You find a way to go over, under, find a way to get there. No, 10 of them will finally lead to a yes. And that yes then will be more gratifying than anything else. So never give up, man. Always go after your goals. Find out how to get there. Don't look at it like, oh my God, it's a huge distance. Think about it. Break it down, man. Everything's in steps. No matter what you're doing. If you're building, like I'm in Vegas right now in the new city center, Aria. Amazing, beautiful building. I'm looking at this and I go, how did a human build this thing? It's overwhelming. Steps, everything's steps, man. So again, I'm long-winded, I apologize for that. Shannon, thank you very much for the email. It's a great question. Good luck to you, man. You can do it, man. I was in the military in Washington, D.C. when I got discovered, man. I wasn't in L.A., man. I was in D.C., man, at a bar. But I was in shape. I had a good personality. I was interacting with people. I took, some people have stardust. Some people, are stars glowing and whatever else. Some people are confident. You keep doing what's right, believing in yourself, people are going to take notice of you. And then it's a lot of fun. It's a good journey. All right, thanks for watching.